All right, let's talk about something that, for a lot of guys, is a bit of a sensitive subject. Penis size. Ever had that nagging thought, that little voice asking, is my penis too small? Or maybe you found yourself thinking, I have a small penis, and it just kind of hangs there, creating this cloud of small penis anxiety? You're definitely not alone if you have. It's a pretty common worry, more common than many like to admit. This anxiety can really mess with your confidence, right? But here's where things take a turn that might surprise you. What if that very specific worry, that deep-seated size anxiety, didn't just stay a source of stress, but actually became the main event, the exciting part, of a consensual, adult playtime? That's exactly what we're diving into with Small Penis Humiliation, or as most people in the know call it, SPH. It's a kink where those very real anxieties get turned completely on their head and become a source of arousal. Sounds wild? Maybe. But let's unpack it. So, where does this all start? That common size worry. Before we get deep into SPH itself, it's super important to get that worries about penis size are incredibly normal. You've probably heard guys wonder, or maybe you've wondered yourself, what is a small penis really? People Google, why is my penis small? All the time, looking for answers, sometimes just looking for reassurance. This isn't some rare niche fear. It can lead to what some call small penis syndrome, basically being way more hung up on your size than is probably warranted, or just general small penis problems that make you feel, well, less than. This existing vulnerability, this common human insecurity, is exactly what the SPH kink taps into. It takes those feelings and builds something entirely new, and for those involved, something intensely erotic, right on top of them. Okay, but what is small penis humiliation, SPH, then? So if you're asking, what is SPH? Swing, here's the deal. Small penis humiliation is a type of psychological humiliation kink. It's all about focusing on a partner's penis, usually when it's seen or framed as being small, tiny, maybe even micro. You'll hear words like small dick, tiny dicks, or small cocks thrown around a lot in these contexts, and sometimes even more creative, and yeah, demeaning terms for a tiny penis. The whole point is to make the humiliated penis of the humiliated man the absolute center of attention, for all the wrong reasons, if you catch my drift, and to make that shame and ridicule incredibly arousing. Now, often you'll find SPH happening in what's called a femdom, that's female domination relationship. In these scenes, a dominatrix is usually the one orchestrating the small dick humiliation. This is what people mean when they talk about dominatrix SPH. She's the one using her power to really dial up the submissive's feelings about his penis size. She might give a pretty brutal penis rating or dick rating, picking apart every perceived flaw. It's a performance, a very intense one. The big question, how does worry turn into arousal? This is probably the part where you're thinking, hold on, how does something that sounds genuinely awful become exciting? And that's a fair question. It's not as straightforward as it sounds, but here are a few reasons why SPH can flip that switch for people. Facing the fear. On your own terms, think about it. For someone constantly battling that internal size anxiety, actually choosing to face it head-on in a controlled way can be strangely empowering. Instead of this vague, ever-present dread, the fear gets a name, a face, a scene. They're in on it. Shame can be surprisingly hot for some. This is a biggie in many BDSM practices. Our brains are weird and wonderful things. Sometimes feelings we normally label as bad, like shame or humiliation, can get rewired in a sexual context and become incredibly arousing. The intense focus on the flaw, the small penis, makes it super significant, super charged. The humiliation itself becomes the turn-on. All eyes on you. Even if the attention is critical, it's intense attention. For someone who might feel invisible or overlooked because of their insecurity, having a dominant partner focus entirely on them, even on their most vulnerable part, can be a powerful, almost validating experience, even if it sounds backward. Letting it all out, Imagine carrying a heavy weight. Sometimes just letting someone else see it, even if they poke fun at it in a pre-agreed way, can be a massive release. It's like, okay, the worst has been said, I'm still here. And wow, this is actually kind of thrilling. The power of surrender. Giving up that control, especially to a partner who knows how to navigate these feelings and desires, is a huge part of many kinks. When a submissive trusts their dominatrix with their deepest vulnerability, that power imbalance can be incredibly erotic. What does SPH actually look like in practice? If you were to peek into an SPH scene, consensually of course, what might you see or hear? Lots of talk. Verbal humiliation is king here. The dominant partner will use all sorts of words and phrases to describe the small penis, really hammering home its supposed inadequacy. If the submissive has ever asked themselves, "Is my penis small?" swing, they're likely to hear a very loud, very humiliating yes. Comparisons. Yeah, his penis might get compared to bigger ones, real or imagined, or even to tiny, everyday objects. It's all part of the game. Being put on display, being made to show off his small dick for inspection and critique is pretty common. Chastity. Sometimes, male chastity devices come into play. It's a way to symbolize the uselessness of the small penis for typical manly stuff, and it really emphasizes the dominance control. Media and learning. A lot of people explore or learn how to do SPH by watching SPH videos or reading stories. You'll find communities sharing SPH tips or discussing this specific penis size kink. Stepping inside the mind of someone into SPH. If you're trying to get your head around this, it's really important to remember that for the people involved, especially the submissives, this fetish is a super complex psychological experience. It's rarely as simple as, I hate my penis, so I want to be shamed for it. It's more about exploring ideas of masculinity, self-worth, and what society tells us we should be, all within a very charged, very intimate, and, this is key, consensual space. This humiliation kink kind of flips the script on typical male pride. Vulnerability becomes the exciting part, and, super importantly, exploring SPH as a kink is worlds away from the real non-consensual pain of body shaming or bullying. In kink, everyone agrees to the rules. The shame is part of the erotic fun. The appeal of SPH, when you get down to it, is how it dives right into that really potent, often off-limits area of male insecurity around size. It takes that size anxiety, puts it front and center, and turns it into something uniquely intense, and for those who get it, incredibly erotic. So, when we say SPH explained, when size anxiety becomes a focal point in kink, that's really the heart of it, taking a common human worry and making it the star of a very specific, very